All right, folks, right here, I've got this formal apology from Brian. It says here that I am so sorry that I completely took over from doing the intro from you last time, even though I said that you would do the intro. That's my fault, and I promise that you are the true rascal of all rascals here in Warren, even though it's just the two of us. And all royalties and dues will go straight to Mayleen's food bowl. Again, I'm sorry. I'm a big loser and smelly head, Brian. Welcome to the Game of the Year cast for
9/11 was an inside job. 2003.
2023. I was about to mess it up again.
2003. We were 8. And this year,
Yeah, something like that.
this year was a good old time for
We're
things.
going to catechism.
I guess so. You
Hey,
would
there's
you
no
would
really
you
much
would
going
know
on.
we went to catechism together if you watched our freaking 1-year anniversary video, but that's not what this is about. It's
No,
about 2003. You know, we do this thing where one video I go first and Erik goes second. And you know what we do? I'm going to tell you something. I don't think you're ready to hear this. Erik goes first and then I go second. I fucking know. It's fucking crazy. Let me tell you.
What a novel concept.
I'm trying to remember. I know what your game of the year is, but I genuinely don't remember what your runner-up was for this year. So I'm actually kind of curious to hear what it is.
Um, funny enough, you would think that one of these games might have appeared in an actual winter year, but really there were just better games that came out those years where every single one of this versions came out. But I can at least give the runner-up spot to probably my favorite out of all of them. Not the best, but my favorite. It's called Mario Kart Double Dash, baby. You go around, you have a buddy on your back. That's pretty much it.
And you dash maybe twice. That's double.
That's double. Legend of Zelda, The Wind Waker. So the story of Wind Waker here. Personally for me, Wind Waker was the first Zelda game that I ever played. It was also the first 3D game that I ever played. I got this with my GameCube with a copy of this and Metroid Prime for $95 because no one was buying GameCubes. What a fun time. But no, I remember popping this in and being like, what the fuck is this? There's a big ocean. I'm kind of Link, I guess. I don't know. I look like a small child. Oh, they're talking about Ocarina of Time at the beginning. I don't know what that is. Yada, yada, yada. There's just something about this that sticks out to me. I think mainly because of my childhood memories with it. It was like that first Zelda I ever played and ever beat. It's got that interesting art style that,
Yeah.
none of the Zeldas use otherwise. Like when they introduced this shell shaded style, everyone was like, what the fuck? This isn't Zelda. He's supposed to be bigger and have a big sword, and then it's gonna be dark and edgy for no reason. And
Dog, if the internet was like huge like it is now when Wind Waker came up, like the announcement, holy fuck, gamers would be so fucking annoying about it.
No, they were annoyed because when the GameCube was announced, there was a trailer of like what the graphics would look like for a Zelda game on there, and it looks more like the Twilight Princess style, but like
Okay.
Twilight Princess wasn't a concept yet. And then come a year later, they announced this, and you're like, what? But it doesn't matter because this game's better than Twilight Princess anyway. So
Was this because I'm into Zelda and not into Zelda? I just don't know the history. This is after your other game of the year, Majora's Mask, correct? Or is there one like mainline Zelda games?
So this, like I said in Majora's Mask, the timeline is so fucking confusing.
Okay. Well, no, I meant like not timeline. I mean, like, was this like the next Zelda game after Majora's Mask?
Yeah, this was the
Okay.
next one.
That's what I wanted to know. So I guess that's a good point then, because then that's such a drastic shift.
No, literally, because Majora's Mask was on the tail end of the N64's career, while this one was, the big push for the GameCube at the end of well, it came out in Japan at the end of 2002 and then released early 2023. Is what we keep talking about. That's the stipulation for our rules.
Early 2023. This game just fucking came out?
2003, baby. I mean, their whole goal of this game is that there's this big bird that steals your sister, and you gotta go get her, and you team up with pirates. That's all. You eventually get the chance to go and set sail on the sea on your own with your little ship, who turns out to be the king. I know it's weird.
Hey, it's Nintendo. Anything goes.
Guess what? The main pirate girl, guess what? That's Zelda.
Of course.
Yeah. It's weird because you come to develop your that friendship with Tetra and not even realize that, hey, she's the princess. Oh my goodness. She doesn't even realize she's the princess. It's very interesting and very fun. Of course, you get your little magical tube this time around. There's no ocarina. You get the actual Wind Waker, which will determine which way the wind flows for your sea ventures so that you can get your best speed boost, that you can get to areas quicker. The concept design for the enemies looks really cool. I love the bird that takes your sister. I can't remember the name off the top of my head, but God, it is so fucking beautifully designed. Like all the colorscapes, the eyes especially really stuck out to me. Traveling around the islands could be a little bit of a bitch when you're first trying to learn the controls. I get it. Ship sailing is not everyone's forte, especially when you're a child and have no idea how to run a ship. I'm the captain now, I guess. This is the game they introduced, like the grappling hook, which is now more of a Zelda staple, I would say. It was in Twilight Princess. It was in Skyward Sword, but it didn't show up in Breath of the Wild. So it was there for 2 games. Well, 3 games technically, but it became an item that people would know, like, hey, the grappling hook, That's a Link weapon that they use. Then they're just going through, having fun adventures, crawling through your dungeons, all that stuff. Again, I thought I was going to sneeze for a second there. It's just the fact that this holds near and dear to me for being, again, my first experience into 3D, my first experience with Zelda, really, my first experience with my own console. All this stuff is what makes Zelda Wind Waker special to me and why it's my favorite game of 2003.
Wind Waker was always one of the Zelda games that I feel like was one that I would have wanted to get into because it feels like the most different. It feels like everything I hear about Zelda, because again, I've played like A Link to the Past was probably the Zelda game I played the most because I remember my grandparents had an SNES and so I'd play it on there. But when you hear like all the name drops of certain characters, from Zelda and how the flow of it goes and the way that one always seemed like such a different idea and concept. And then from the art style too, it just seemed like it was the throwaway, like, oh, we're going to do this and we're going to do something so different. And it clearly worked, which is awesome. So my runner up is a game that, you know what? I think the more I've been sitting on it, the more I think I'm actually gonna flip these two. I actually, I think, and hey, this is wild. So I will say my runner-up is Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic. Obviously one of the best, not Star Wars games, one of the best RPGs of all time. Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic is so like I could just remember so much about that and the storytelling. And again, like it's definitely a game that's very outdated now with the way that it goes, but that's just the way that like it was very groundbreaking because it kind of took things in a bigger direction and we started to see where BioWare was going.
Right.
But you know,
Shout out to the remake that might
shout
not.
in development hell now. But I'm going to be honest with you. I think the more we've been doing these videos, the more confident I've been in just being like, you know what? I need to just go with my gut. And this was my runner up because when I looked at that this came out in 2003, I was like, oh, this has to be one of them because this game is so important to me. It's like probably my most important and probably my favorite Pokemon game, actually. My sister went and got herself Pokemon Sapphire. And obviously, as you can clearly, I think people know what my favorite color is. I went with Pokemon Ruby. Eric, I'm telling you, I'm like sitting here going, I'm doing this right now. Pokemon
Oh, man.
Ruby, game of the year of 2003. So, this game is probably like is my Pokemon game. I think every kid, every adult, whoever had Pokemon in their lives, Pokemon Ruby was my Pokemon game. Like I remember being in love because I'm pretty sure this was the first time that they made like a whole new set of Pokemon, correctly? Am I being
No,
second
no.
time?
This will be the second time, yes.
Okay.
Because red
And
and
I,
blue were Gen 1, gold and silver
okay,
were Gen 2,
you're
and then
right.
ruby sapphire Gen 3,
But
which is the
I
best gen.
oh my gosh, I can't even breathe right now. I'm like losing my mind talking about Pokemon fucking Ruby. This game just, again, it's Pokemon. And I think the character designs were so awesome. Now I gotta look up the name of that because now it just screws up Pokemon Ruby starters. Because now
Oh,
everything's going
Torchwich, Trico, and Mudkip, baby.
port. Oh my gosh.
Torchich, Trico, and Mudkip. Come on.
Whoa. Okay. Wait a minute. I'm okay. So do you remember the cover of Pokemon Ruby where it's like he's like a flat, he kind of has like the flat skin and he's red and it looks like he has scales on him?
Yeah, that's Groudon. That's the legendary of the game.
I ended up getting him. I was so proud of myself, my 8-year-old self. No, okay, so yeah, you are correct. No, because when I finally looked at Torchic, like you said, I remember like I see this. Hey, when you go off the cuff, all the memories start flooding back, and you're trying to get all the information out. But dude, I don't know. I just remember being so enamored with Pokemon at this time. I remember going to all the events at like Toys R Us where like you'd all connect your Game Boys to get the things, to get the new Pokemon. I remember all of that. Rayquaza. Remember Rayquaza? He was the
Why
green,
you mean
like,
Rayquaza?
how do you
Not like
say it?
Rayquaza, not like the freaking holiday, Brian.
Now, like, are you saying that a guy named Ray can't celebrate Kwanzaa? I
That's
don't
not what
know.
I'm saying.
Eric, listen. What were the two that looked like each other? Like Latos?
Latios,
Latios?
yes.
Latias?
Latios and Latias. Yep.
I remember just chugging through this game so much. And I have a funny story about this. I don't know if it's this one or Fire Red. Well, whichever one, I'll still tell the story because at this point, I'm just going to say it's Pokemon. I love the Pokemon. It's Pokemon. I beat it. Got through all the trainers, finished all the things.
Why
it's
does it
fucking
sound
dope.
like a former president's thing? I love the Pokemon. I love them all. They're all the best. I gotta catch them all.
Get that shit out of your mouth. I had a neighbor who was in my back left corner of my backyard. And I think this is Fire Red, but I'll tell the story because I think it's a more fun antidote than me just going, oh, yeah, that was in the game. He asked me to borrow the game. So I threw it over the fence. Apparently, I didn't throw it hard enough, and it fell in the sewer. So then I had to get a whole new copy of the game for me to fucking beat. And my parents were so pissed off at me, dude. They were like, what? I think it might have been Fire Red because I don't remember it being Ruby, but they were pissed. And the cartridge was like see-through, and it was like that cool little like kind of that ruby red, bruh.
Yeah.
And Ruby is my gemstone. What am I talking about now?
Yeah, those cartridges are very hard to get. They're very expensive.
I wonder. I need to look for mine now. That could be like a Razcast, just us going through like rare games we have or cartridges or something. I don't know.
Well,
All I
already I
know,
got this.
that's
And this
true.
is nearly
All I
$100.
know is Pokemon Ruby was the shit. I fucking love it. And I'm remembering things and I just went for it. And you know what? I think the more I've had that on my list, the more I've been thinking about it and going, you know what? Once again, Star Wars is amazing. That game is so important to me. I loved playing it. It just had all this replay value and it just had so much attached to it. And fuck,
Our childhood
I thought this
was
was going to
today.
take like 5 more episodes, but ladies and gentlemen, 2003, I'm coming swinging, okay?
Remember at the beginning of this, we were just like, oh, 2003. We
Well,
got
because 2002, I was like, oh, okay, Animal Crossing. And then we're like, but hey, don't you wait. This episode, you're sitting talking, and I'm like, I'm going to fucking do it. I'm going to change it. I'm
listen.
a hit him.
Hey, listen. Next year, that's still not gonna be it for me.
Still not going to be it. My next year is going to be kind of a nice discussion. It's not going to just be me trying to fucking remember everything.
Give it the year afterwards, and then it's like, boy, like, comment, subscribe. What was your favorite game from 2003?
And what was your favorite part of this video? Was it me having an existential crisis about how much I love Pokemon Ruby? Or Erik's great intro?
Yeah. Tell us, who was your favorite, your starter Pokemon for any generation? Who's your favorite? For me, it's Cyndaquil. Will always be Gen 2, baby. Gen
and
2.
Also, leave it in the comments below if, since Wind Waker was such a success, what should the game after this, Tears of the Kingdom? I say it should be a 5D steampunk version of Zelda, and he's in a dystopian future where he has to kill animals, but it's like R-rated, like it's X, like he's fucking slaughtering animals and like, trading pelts and stuff to people.
Sure, he already does that, except for not the gore part. But
okay. So what's 5D? If 4D is you feel it, what's 5D?
5D is like chess. You can just think it.
And I think we leave it at that. That was really deep, Erik. I love that.
Toodaloo.
I was gonna say, I don't even know if that's a zoo to Toodaloo. I think we're too fancy, but you know what? Toodaloo.
Oh yeah, Toodaloo.